Good, ladies and gentlemen, back with Lunch with Steel, and got the sandwich already made. We locked in, about to bite into that here in a second. But as I do, Lunch with Steel is the series that I do just to remind those who are, maybe you're new or maybe you are familiar. When you come have lunch with me, I usually do a little something simple for lunch. I do like a sandwich or something, especially during the work week. Chewing on some of that Pringles cheddar and sour cream this week as my chip of choice. Always love me a good Pringle. But I also like to discuss things that I'm either into, whatever I got on my heart at the time, my mind at the time, and just kind of express my ideas, my thoughts. Mostly it's going to be centered around gaming, right? Because that's just something that I'm extremely passionate about, but just across the board. Doesn't matter the platform, although let's be honest, still trying to find a reason to have a PlayStation, but that's neither here nor there, man. But look, you can say that about any platform, let's be honest. I didn't really have nothing to bring to the table today, man. I got my show tomorrow, Live a Split Screen, which is going to be, I say tomorrow, but by the time this gets uploaded, on June 21st, Saturday, is going to be episode 191, technically season 5, because we usually jump into the next season after that E3 time, showcase season and everything, so we can be locked and loaded in there. But I think I've mentioned it. I've made a couple videos talking about that stuff too. Nothing I think I've uploaded anything yet because I do have some standouts that I got from showcase season and whatnot. But I think today more so, I just wanted to kind of come in and just have a general conversation, man. Like, yo, what's Steel? Like, what are you playing? Well, maybe you're not familiar with the timeline. Maybe you're new to the TikTok. You could just probably scroll through right now. Stellar Blade got me in a chokehold, baby. Like it just do. Stellar Blade is a freaking phenomenal game. I would even consider it because recently I tried to jump in. Well, I won't say try because I put time into it. I got about 20 or 30 hours in the first Berserker Kazan. Was enjoying myself with that. I was enjoying myself with Monster Hunter Wilds, and I've been playing a lot of different demos. Like for an example, tried to hop in the Chrono Odyssey demo, or the beta or whatever, the playtest that just came out. And I had to decide that I'm going to wait to play that game or to even test it out because immediately I made my character, spent a little bit of time making my character, bald dude, beard, clean. And what ended up happening is I loaded into the first area and literally it was so dark. Mind you, they set you up at nighttime. Mind you, it was so dark, I could barely tell what I was doing. I couldn't see my attacks. I couldn't see, like you can see the buttons and everything that you can press and whatever, but as far as like seeing the enemies, the visual clarity was just completely insane. So much to the point I was like, yo, do I need to adjust the settings on my monitor or something? What's happening? But I said, you know what, I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna hold off on it and see where it goes. If I do that, does it swipe it away, really? Whatever. I just thought that was interesting. As soon as I did that, it pushed it, closed it. Anyway, so I'm just going to hold off on Chrono Odyssey. Chrono Odyssey is an extremely appealing game to me as far as an MMO goes, right? The last MMO I got knee deep into was Black Desert Online. Phenomenal game. They had over 1,500 hours in it, and a lot of people would probably consider that light for those who actually are like part of the BDO community, Black Desert Online community, man. A lot of people probably consider that light, but BDO is the best MMO that I could ever recommend to somebody. The way that it plays, the way that it handles, the combat, just saying, ain't nothing out there that's even remotely close to it. Now, Chrono Odyssey, from what I've seen and a little bit that I played like 5-10 minutes before I was like, I just can't see nothing. I can't do this. From what I've seen, Chrono Odyssey is taking more of like the Souls-like approach, where as far as how you approach the battle and everything. So that's extremely appealing. And I can't wait to jump into more of that. So I'm just hold off and maybe do a beta down the line, or I'll just wait on full release and see what it's rocking for. Because I have this thing, and I don't know if y'all got it too, man, where not necessarily where it's like I feel like I'm wasting time, but a lot of times with betas, especially if I end up liking it, or maybe even if I had prior interest, if I end up spending my time in there, I feel like I'm cutting myself at the knees as far as my experience goes, right? Because I have this thing that's like, yo, once I jump into the experience, I want to keep it running back. For example, MechaBREAK. Don't know if y'all know heard about that one. I'm actually gonna pull that one up on screen. Matter of fact, let's show y'all Chrono Odyssey first. Yeah, I can see my little screen sharing here. I was pulling up some Gears Reloaded. I'm on that this weekend as well. Getting into Gears Reloaded, the beta, playing some King of the Hill. So, and that's been a real good time. Let me pull up some Chrono Odyssey up on screen for y'all so y'all can kind of get an idea of what this game is going to be like. Now, the main thing that I've seen people discussing is that, we'll do it with IGN, that's fine. The main thing that I've seen people discussing is that the game doesn't quite look the same way that it did when they teased it. And again, I can see some of that as well, and there's nothing wrong with being honest about some of that. But man, like, I'd be remiss to say, like, the game looks cool as hell though, bro. You know what I mean? I'll skip through here a little bit. I don't know if y'all can hear the audio from them. But the game was just cool in concept, man. So shout out to Chrono Odyssey. Let me see if I can clear that off the screen for y'all so you guys can kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested in this. I don't want to give myself a bad experience to start with. But MechaBREAK is the main one that I want to bring to the table for y'all, because this is my most anticipated multiplayer game of the year. Hands down, it's not even remotely close. I played the beta for this. I played 2 closed betas for this, and I've enjoyed both betas just astronomically. The way that the mechs handle it, I compared it, it's like an arcade version of Armored Core, if you guys are familiar with that. And it also has like hero-based type mechs, right? So these mechs, you can't really like customize them and make them per se your own, although they will have skins, and you will be able to color customize them, which is something that I typically ask for. Yo, if you're gonna give me a hero type class or whatever, just let me be able to customize them however I want, colors, whatever the case. And that's what it's gonna be able to let you do here, man. MechaBREAK, super dope game. Let me see if I can turn that sideways for y'all so I can see a little bit more. Super dope game, super interesting. I can't wait to get into some more. Maybe it's not a good idea, but I can't wait to actually play this game. It drops actually. Let me see if I can get myself up here, and then we'll drag MechaBREAK on. I was trying to see if I can bring YouTube up. I guess not. It said, nah, man, nah, still we can't do that. All right, that's fine. I'll come back to the cam. But it's one of our most highly anticipated multiplayer games. It's gonna have its the 3v3 and 5v5 base, or 6v6, excuse me, base multiplayer modes. Hero base is gonna have things like domination, and also an objective based one to where you're moving the point. And just the balance of the game, the way that it makes you feel moment to moment, getting used to a class. Like for an example, I'm not a healer when it comes to hero-based games. I'm just not. I don't like that aspect of it. I like to be in the middle of the fight. But you know what happens? A lot of the time, you end up in situations where you need a healer and people act like they don't want to play healer. Marvel Rivals is the only other game that really got me to be like, oh snap, I actually like playing healer with like Luna Snow and stuff like that. But MechaBREAK, it's just, as a mecha fan, as a Gundam fan, you know, you go back to Robotech, a Gundam Wing, a Gundam 00, Endless Waltz, or the movie, you know what I mean? Like, you just kind of go down the list as a mecha fan. Also being able to create your own custom character as well, as far as your pilot goes, and if you end up picking a female, you get the jiggle physics and all that good stuff. Again, it's not something that necessarily is like, ooh, that's why I'm attracted to it. But it's like, you can't say it's not a good plus, you know what I mean? But it just seems like it's going to be a really solid experience. Well, not even seems like, I know it's going to be a really solid experience, at least for myself, as somebody who is more PvP focused. That's something I put, you know, anywhere that I go, like with any social media or anything like that. As far as like when it comes into gaming, I always stand 10 toes down. It's like I am a PvP focused gamer. I will have, if a game has a single player and a multiplayer component to it, I am more likely to play that game versus any single player game. Hands down, it's not even remotely a question. At least for me, and I know different people feel differently about that type of thing. But You know, MechaBREAK, July 1st. It's going to be on Xbox and PC. It's not releasing on PlayStation. I did find that kind of weird, right? I want the game to be as accessible to many people as possible. Don't know how long it's going to be a console exclusive to Xbox, 6 months, a year, whatever it is. But it's my most anticipated multiplayer game of the year right now, man. They also have a mode called MechaBREAK. I believe I'm saying it right. I could be saying it wrong. It's essentially like a extraction type mode where you go in, you're fighting other people, you get loot and stuff like that. You can lose your loot if you don't extract with it, but you don't have to get to the end. At least when I played the beta, you don't have to like win the match in order for you to get whatever loot that you got during that match. You can actually extract earlier, like where you can extract the loot earlier and still continue to fight and stuff. So it seems like it has a lot of options, man. Can't wait to get in more into that. I think coming off of Stellar Blade, because that's going to be the main thing that's going to be coming down the pipeline for me. Be posting more Stellar Blade content, sharing more. I'm probably going to do 2 playthroughs of that, just because I want to get all the endings that you can get, and also you get more ability points and stuff like that in the second playthrough, like more over-the-top combos and whatnot, and really use that to my advantage, more costumes and whatnot. And I just been going crazy with the photo mode and stuff like that. I can't help it, bro. Eve's a good-looking character. It's a good-looking world, right? And I like digital art, bro. Again, gaming is art, and I think it should be treated as such. So I can't wait to jump into more of that, man. So Stellar Blade is going to lead me probably straight into MechaBREAK. You know, I try to be reasonable with the games that I'm juggling, and I haven't had a game like Stellar Blade like really pull my attention to say, no, this is the game I'm going to be focusing on. Probably since Dragon's Dogma 2, right? Dragon's Dogma 2, my first playthrough, I literally did everything. Got the ending that I wanted. Got to see my pawn do some things. I don't want to leak anything in case anybody's interested, but gives me some of those same feels where it's like, oh, I need to play through this. You know what I mean? So, and there's other games that I find kind of that flow with, right? I had a little bit of that with Berserker, but there's certain games where it's just like you sit down and you're like, this is what I want to play. So, yeah, man. So, shout out to that. Hopefully, I can pose a little bit of your interest if you're into an MMO like Chrono Odyssey, or maybe you're more of a mecha fan and you're ready to jump into some MechaBREAK. But July 1st, by the way, catch me on the field, pilots. I finished my sandwich up. We're going to get into biting this, man. And with that being said, much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all staying tuned in. Look, if you're interested, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. UK time, living split screen, a non-console centric platform, talking about everything going on within the gaming industry. Take that RTS approach, pulling ourselves out of the world, looking at the darker crevices of the map, pulling our resources together so we can build up not only our own foundation for conversation, but also for the potential 2 to 3 billion gamers that are out there. With that also being said, you can follow me, Steel Rain, that T is a 7, everywhere. Google is probably the easiest place to type that information in, but I do frequent the streets of X, otherwise known as Twitter, and the Xbox ecosystem, just because it works so well between the PC and the box itself. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, much love to y'all. Y'all be safe out there, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.